Welcome! Today we're counting down our picks for the best combat racing games that you should check out, and without further ado, let's dive right in. Sonic Racing CrossWorlds. Okay, before we continue, I should let you know that this list focuses on combat racing games, or games with combat racing mechanics. That means the games must involve some form of racing. So yeah, arena-based combat games like Twisted Metal aren't included. But if you're into those, check out my car combat games video. Anyway, this game is the latest entry in the Sonic Kart racing series, and as you can see, it features combat mechanics that let you mess with your opponents. So yeah, definitely grab this one, especially if you've got friends.
Accelerate!
PAM, Post-Apocalyptic Mayhem. Okay, judging by the vehicle physics, especially when you die, you might assume that this is just another cheap arcade racer made by some unknown dev. Partially, that might be true. However, if you're into fun combat racing games, then you should definitely check this one out. As you can see, you will use unique weapons to attack your competitors, depending on the vehicle you choose. So, if you're bored of guns and missiles, this one could be an alternative. Overall, if you have your expectations in check, then you'll have a good time with this one.
What's your name again? Stevie Wonder? Killer!
Death Track Resurrection. Now, this is another cheapish arcade combat racer, but as you can see, it's one of the few proper combat racing games on this list. And just like the last game, the vehicle physics are almost non-existent. But hey, this one's got way more bullets and missiles flying around. And honestly, it looks stupid, but it's that kind of stupid that makes you want to try it for a chill session. Just a heads up though, you might need to mess with the settings a bit to get it running right. But hey, it's cheap, so why not give it a shot?
Killer!
FlatOut. Okay, if you're a fan of FlatOut or Wreckfest, then this indie racing game might be your jam. Seriously, it's like they mashed up the chaos of classic FlatOut with the physics and modern polish of Wreckfest. And yeah, you'll definitely feel that it's a low-budget title, because it is, but don't let that stop you from enjoying it because it really nails what it does best. Fun racing sessions where you can slam into your rivals just to make sure they don't win. So yeah, if you love FlatOut or Wreckfest, check this one out. Warhammer 40k, Speed Freeks. Okay, in my other video, I already mentioned that this one's primarily a car combat game. However, it also features a kinda racing-ish mode where you have to hit checkpoints while shooting and getting shot at the same time. And as you can see, the world is lore accurate. The gameplay is packed with explosions and the orcs are hilarious. And before you start asking questions, yeah, I get it. It's not a true combat racing game, but if you're down to try something a little different, I think you should give this one a shot, especially if you're into the franchise. Turbo Sloths. Alright, this one's easily one of the most unique games on this list, I'd say. I mean, just look at the damn game. You're driving heavy-duty vehicles with guns, racing on some alien planet while robots are shooting at you, and yeah, you've also got boosters to go even faster. Not only that, but there are no regular cars here, just dozers and rollers. So, the big question is, does it make sense? Honestly, I don't know, but if the game's fun, then why the hell not? And yeah, whoever made this was definitely smoking some good shit. Gas Guzzlers Extreme. Now, this one's a proper combat racing game, and one of the most popular ones too, and as you can see, in this game you race and do whatever it takes to win. You slam other drivers, grab power-ups, and blast them into oblivion. And obviously, with games like this, don't expect realistic driving physics. It's basically Burnout, but with mounted guns. So yeah, it's pure chaos and destruction with a sprinkle of racing. So if you're looking for a chaotic pure combat racer, definitely grab this one, especially if it's on sale.
I see dead people.
Road Redemption. Now, this game is here to scratch that road rash itch with a vengeance. Imagine racing at insane speeds, smashing rivals to bits with all kinds of weapons, all set in a gritty post-apocalyptic world. Not only that, but the controls are tighter than your favorite pair of jeans, and the combat, oh boy, it's satisfyingly brutal and fun. And with a campaign that pulls you right into the chaos and multiplayer modes to keep the adrenaline pumping, this game is pure, unadulterated fun. So if you're into motorcycle combat racing, this one's an absolute must-play. Grip Combat Racing. Now, this one's basically a modern take on old-school futuristic racing games like Roll Cage or Firebugs, but with way crisper visuals. And what makes it different from other futuristic racers is that it's not primarily an anti-gravity game like Wipeout, Redout, or pretty much every other title in the genre. Instead, most of the cars actually have wheels, though it still throws in plenty of sci-fi stuff, like driving on walls or even upside down. So yeah, if you're into unrealistic racing games where you can shoot your competitors with plasma blasters, or whatever they're called, definitely check this one out. LEGO 2K Drive. Okay, not everyone watching this video wants a hardcore combat racing game. Sometimes, we just want something colorful and cute, but still lets us destroy stuff and make other racers regret ever showing up. And that's where this game comes in. It's basically an open-world racing game set in a LEGO world with weapons and power-ups to make the races way more fun. Oh, and the cars can transform too during races. So yeah, if you're not insecure about your masculinity, or not scared of being called a man-child by your friends, assuming you have any, then definitely grab this one.
Have a little trouble?
Jak X Combat Racing. Now, I know some of you were expecting this title to show up, because seriously, this is one of the best combat racing games of all time. It was the shit back when I still had friends. I mean, I still do, unlike some of you, so don't get me wrong. Anyway, the game is now available on PS4 and PS5. So yeah, if you're feeling nostalgic and want something to play that helps you remember all the good memories from years ago, which usually end with you regretting your past mistakes, then this is the game.
Oh, GT, I can't watch.
ONRUSH. Okay, this game was the shit back in the day. It was really fun slamming into other vehicles, especially knowing the other guy was going to be bitter for the rest of the day. Now, sure, the servers are already shut down, but that doesn't mean you can't still enjoy it. The online multiplayer was a blast, no doubt about that, but playing offline is fine too, assuming you're the kind of guy who actually enjoys offline racing games. Damn, it feels weird saying that. Anyway, definitely grab this one fast since physical copies are getting rarer these days. FlatOut Ultimate Carnage. The FlatOut games might not be pure combat racing since they don't have weapons to attack other racers, but still, you can't talk about this series without mentioning combat and chaos. So yeah, this game, along with other physics-based combat racers, deserves a spot here. Now sure, it's pretty old by today's standards, especially the visuals, but I think it's still a blast to play. That is, if you're all about fun arcade racing and couldn't care less about anything else. Oh, and by the way, don't even think about getting the third game, okay? Just don't. Split Second. Now, this was one of the most legendary arcade racing games back when the PS3 was still the king of gaming consoles. But sadly, not many people remember it or have even heard of it, since it never evolved into a long-running series like Burnout or Need for Speed. But whatever, it's still playable and still great, especially in split-screen multiplayer with friends, assuming you have any. Anyway, if you're into arcade combat racing games that much, this one's a must-play. It's in a league of its own. Oh, and thanks to backward compatibility, it's available on Xbox consoles too. Pacer. Okay, this game is the answer you're looking for if you want to play Wipeout but don't have a PS5 or PS4. I mean, just look at it. It's clearly inspired by the Wipeout series, obviously. And just like most anti-gravity racing games, there's combat with futuristic weapons and all that, but it's usually not that epic. The high-speed, skill-based racing is still the main event, so don't expect a ton of explosions in this kind of game. So yeah, it might not be Wipeout, but it's good enough if you just want to hover around and shoot laser stuff. BallisticNG. Okay, this one's basically Wipeout for PC, complete with old-school graphics, so yeah, if you're feeling nostalgic and want to experience a Wipeout-style game but you're a PC player, then this is your best option. However, unlike Pacer, I think this game has better combat mechanics. The combat feels more lively, even if the explosions don't look that futuristic, considering the game's setting. Or, I don't know, maybe I'm still stuck in the Wipeout era from the PS1 days. Anyway, if this looks interesting to you, you're not gonna regret it. Oh, and it supports VR too, just so you know. SkyDrift Infinity. Now, this one isn't your typical racing game obviously, but I still think it belongs on this list since it's all about racing and combat. Plus, it's actually really fun, especially considering most airplane games lean more toward the simulation side. And I've gotta say, this is the kind of game that's perfect for local couch multiplayer, whether it's with your friends, if you have any, or your kids. And with a bunch of planes, power-ups, and game modes, it's carved out a solid spot as a party game. So if you've never tried a plane racing game before, now's the time. Blur. This game, along with Split Second, was one of the go-to arcade racers to play with friends back when split-screen multiplayer was the standard in racing games. It's basically an arcade racing game with power-ups. Think Need for Speed or Burnout mixed with Mario Kart. So yeah, it might look odd compared to modern racing games, which focus more on realism and accurate physics. That said, it's still a blast to play with others. That is, if you can get your hands on a copy and make it work. And trust me, it's worth tracking down just to relive the split-screen multiplayer experience. Burnout Paradise Remastered. This game was the last full-blown Burnout title ever released, which is a shame, especially since Burnout was one of the most legendary racing game franchises, especially if you played the first few games. So, basically, this is the only open-world Burnout game, and it's a blast, especially if you don't care about realism and just want to slam into other cars and cause chaos without any kind of learning curve. Oh, and there are bikes too, just so you know. Anyway, the remaster is available on all modern consoles, including the Switch, so if you're feeling nostalgic, definitely grab this one. Wreckfest. Now, this one is the current go-to when it comes to physics-based combat racing, also known as banger racing in some countries. And if you're wondering why it feels like FlatOut but with better physics, it's because the dev behind this game is the same one who made the classic FlatOut titles. So yeah, apparently they've mastered the art of making games where you drive cars and slam into each other to win. And I've gotta say, the car damage is super satisfying to watch, especially when you manage to win with a car that's barely holding together. Nightmare Kart. Alright, this one is an indie kart racing game designed to look like it came straight out of the PS1 era, and honestly, it nails that retro aesthetic perfectly. And like some other titles on this list, it's primarily a kart racer with combat elements. And as expected, you can duke it out with other karts using all sorts of wacky weapons and tactics. So if you're into modern retro games, this one's worth checking out. Oh, and did I mention it's free to play? Yeah, no reason not to give it a shot. Crash Team Racing, Nitro-Fueled. Okay, this one's actually my favorite kart racing game of all time. I love it so much that I kinda got really good at it. You know, so good that I almost never lose to my friends. Unless they cheat, of course. Anyway, this game has the best and most fun combat mechanics out of all the modern kart racers. Better than Mario Kart, I'd say. And honestly, I think it's one of the best games for a good old-fashioned couch multiplayer session. Assuming you've still got friends to play with, that is. Wipeout Omega Collection. Okay, this one's a remaster of Wipeout HD and Wipeout 2048, now with modern graphics and VR support, which is great if you've got the stomach for it. Now, with futuristic anti-gravity games like this, the combat isn't usually all that spectacular or epic, and that's kinda expected, since they tend to focus more on skill-based racing and that extreme sense of speed. But still, the weapon-based combat definitely adds some flavor to the races. So if you're a Wipeout fan and want to experience what it's like to pilot one of these futuristic vehicles, definitely grab this one. You won't regret it. Mario Kart World. Alright, I was actually going to put Mario Kart 8 Deluxe here, but since this game is now the latest, hottest kart racer, naturally it gets the spot instead. And yeah, basically, everything that was great about Mario Kart 8 is still here, but with some enhancements and obviously better visuals, since the Switch 2 can handle 4K at 60 frames per second. And I'm just gonna say it, if you like kart racing, get this game. If you're a Nintendo fan, get this game. And if you're simping for Princess Peach, also get this game. Basically, everybody needs to get this game. Burnout Revenge. Okay, I'd say this is one of the best, if not the best, combat racing games of all time, even without guns or missiles. And some of you younger gamers might not know about this one, but let me tell you, back then, this was the game to play when you got bad grades at school, or when your crush talked to someone who wasn't you. Seriously, there's nothing more stress-relieving than going fast and slamming into other cars, also known as takedowns in the Burnout series. So yeah, I'm not gonna say much else. Just play this one, all of you. So do you agree with our picks? Check out these other videos from us and be sure to subscribe and ring the bell to be notified about our latest videos.